Okay, you ready to do this?
Sure.
Well, this is what editing is for.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, welcome
everyone
to our first podcast. We don't know what it's called yet, and that's what you're going to help us with. But I am Sammy Cow, and this is my co-host, Frank D. Martino. So, anyways, we are in Frank's store, Wildbird Limited, celebrating how many years?
8 years.
8 years. Wow.
Yeah.
Live audience. Audience, make some noise. Yeah, we don't really know what we're doing, but we got that out of the way. Yeah. So,
Ideas, and so we're gonna
know what's gonna win.
Yeah. Frank thinks he knows what's gonna win already, but we're gonna. Okay.
I got Larry's vote.
Okay. So, but we'll let everyone vote here. Let's just start off with some intros. So yeah, I'm Sammy. This is Frank. And Frank, how did we first meet?
I mean, we were both in Audubon for a while, but I don't think we met up until was it Costa Rica, or was it like one of the Audubon dinners, maybe briefly? But I don't think it was really until Costa Rica that I made the connection that that's Sammy.
Yeah, well, I remember emailing you, I think, about one of the CBCs. You were in charge of Ventura's, and I remember you had what's your email? Frank Coat. Actually, maybe I shouldn't say aloud. But I just remember emailing you, and I was like, this guy has a weird email.
Thanks.
That was my first impression of you. But then, one of the dinners we met, but then it wasn't until Costa Rica where we really became lifelong buddies.
Sammy.
But yeah, in our Costa Rica trip.
Costa Rica.
Yeah, that was.
I don't remember the first half of the Costa Rica trip.
Yeah, because you were deathly ill.
Thought I was dying. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you were hiccuping a lot, and I thought, this is kind of weird.
That was just my body shutting down.
Yeah, I didn't realize how much pain you were.
There's a lot of concern on that bus for me for that. That's fine. Did you take pictures of me when I was passed out? I know you were doing that pictures of everybody sleeping.
I was taking pictures of lots of people asleep.
Yeah.
I don't think I took a picture of you because I think I realized, you're actually not doing well. But that's where we kind of started hitting it off. And I got the sense of this is a guy that he can handle my what would you call it, tenacity.
I'm not falling for that. Energy level,
yeah.
With that.
Yeah, and then in Belize, that was
I do remember Belize. That was fun.
Yeah, Belize was great. We got a couple people from Belize and Costa Rica here. That's when I feel because I remember Jonathan, who's not on the call, or maybe he's PC. But Jonathan, I remember he told me, he's like, I thought you guys had been friends for years. And I'm like, oh no, just kind of know each other for a little bit.
Did he say that?
That's what he told me.
This must have been a private conversation that you just shared with everybody.
Oh, well,
that's fine.
Sorry, Jonathan.
He's not here.
But yeah, so a couple of months ago, I texted Frank. I was like, hey, what do you think about starting a podcast? And he was like, I'm all for it. So the idea for this podcast is kind of what you're seeing right now. Just two friends talking about bird stuff. There's some more technical birding podcasts out there.
That's not us.
And that's not us. We're just kind of two dudes shooting the breeze.
Is that a name?
But let's start off with a little bit of intros for, everyone on here probably knows us in some capacity, but let's kind of give a little bit about our background, how we got into birds, what we like about birds, etc. So why don't you kick us off, Frank?
Sure. Let's see. I got into birds through my grandparents. So long time ago, I would sit at their feeders and draw the birds as they came around and look at them because they would be sleeping until 10 or 11 o'clock, and I'd get up early as a little kid.
Or the birds or your grandparents?
Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense. The birds were up way earlier, so I would go sit down there and look at the feeders and draw the tufted titmouse and the cardinals that would come by. And kind of got out of birds during my teenage years, like I think a lot of people do, and then got back into it in my early 20s, moved out here to California, fell down that slippery slope of birding, and joined a bird walk at the ponds, saw a ruddy duck with the blue bill, and I was just mind blown. I didn't know these ducks. I'd only ever seen mallards somehow, and it was an insane feeling. I was like, I have to go back. And then I found an oriole nest there, and perhaps unwisely announced that on the listserv that I joined. And K actually reached out and sent an email and said, "Oh, you should join Ventura Audubon." And then D reached out and said, "Oh, you should join Conejo Valley Audubon." And so I joined all the Audubons, and then it was like, "Oh, we need a webmaster." Like, yeah, I'll do that. "Oh, we need somebody to run the Christmas bird count." I can do that. "Oh, we need a vice president." Sure, why not? Now I'm the president for one, and I run the Christmas bird count for the other. And then at some point, my career decided they asked me to move to Detroit or Kansas City. And I was kind of like, I'm more of a coastal guy. So
And what was your career before bird?
I was like an admin that did work in refineries and petrochemical facilities. So
sounds riveting.
Yeah, no, I had to get out of there. That's an industry that I don't particularly enjoy. You know, if you're into conservation, working in oil refineries is really, really hard. And I would be walking around the plants, and they have like these open pits of like this fetid, disgusting water. And you see like these ducks walking into it. And I'm like, this is not great. And I saw some swans flying by, and there was Western tanagers singing in one of them. And I was like, this doesn't really align with what I feel like I should be doing in the world. And so they're like, yeah, do you want to move to Kansas City? And I'm like, there's a lot I really don't want to do about that, like just the whole thing. And so I stopped working there and reached out to Richard and Catherine at the Thousand Oaks store and said, what do you think about this Wild Birds Limited thing? Is it worth it? Is it fun? And they're like, yeah, go for it. And that was 9 years ago. So then I opened the store. So now I've got a store that sells bird food and bird feeders. I do the Christmas bird count. I'm on both the Audubon boards. And in my spare time, I go birding and record educational bird videos. So my life is literally birds all the time. And people laugh and they're like, there's no way. Like, you must do something else. It's like, I've literally had like procedures done and people are talking to me about birds. They're like, so I've got this Oriole feeder and there's all these bees, and I'm just like cringing. And I'm like, oh, well, try this and try that. So it doesn't stop. It's I dream about birds. I just wake up, I come here, talk about birds, and then it's all the time. It's not a problem.
No, it's just a lifestyle.
Oh, it's a choice. It's a choice.
Yeah, and that's why you are Frank the Bird Guy.
That is Frank the Bird Guy. Yep. It's a whole alter ego that has manifested over these years. That's, I think, then the international trip after COVID, I was like, you know what? Life is short. I'm just going to go to Costa Rica. And I was like, oh, this was a lot of fun. Now I'm going to go to Panama. Now I'm going to go to Ecuador, to Costa Rica. So that I got that bug too. So it's international trips too. Wow.
Yeah, once you get the international bug,
it's hard to shake. It's hard to come back here and be like, I'm just going to go see these same birds that I've seen 100 times. Like, yeah. Kind of want to go to Costa Rica again.
Because hopefully you don't actually get international bugs.
Just the one time.
Yeah.
And I survived. I mean, there were a couple of days were touch and go, but I survived.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I got sick after that trip too. I was out for a while.
Is this where we promote the trips we have coming up?
Yeah.
Who wants to go to Colombia with Sammy?
Yeah, I'm going to Colombia in December. You won't get sick at all, I promise.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Frank. Well, hey, all right. Well, I can share a little bit about me. Yeah. So let's see. How did I get into birding? I think it was, as a kid, I was always into birds.
You're a Cali guy, right?
Huh?
You're from Cali.
Yeah, Cali. Born and raised in the Valley. But we lived in like about an acre of property. So we're on the edge, kind of on the west side of the San Fernando Valley. So it was an area called Shadow Hills, had like horse property and stuff. And we lived next to this huge kind of 40-acre field. And so I remember there'd be like coyotes over there. I remember a bobcat hopping the fence into our yard one time. And there were like herons. I didn't realize they did this, but I saw this herons just like hunting in the field, and they would, stab the ground. I'm like, and then they came up with a gopher in their bill. And I was like, whoa, and they just gobble it down. And I was like, I did not know they did that.
It's a little gruesome.
Yeah. So it was a lot of wildlife around. So I just kind of started looking through. My parents actually had some bird books, and I wouldn't say they were like hardcore, but they knew some things. And so I was kind of cruising through them, started noticing different birds around the house, started putting up feeders, and I just kind of caught the bug. So I, kept a life list wherever I went. We traveled a lot, going to national parks. I became a junior ranger everywhere. I have like 50 junior ranger badges on my wall.
Love that.
I still, actually, they're still hung up on my room right now. So, you got to honor your roots.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You seem like you have something to say about that.
No, nothing at all. I can picture it. I can totally picture it. I saw your place last time, so I believe it.
We were at the Grand Tetons one time, and there was a guy who was like 101 years old, and he was coming in to get his Junior Ranger badge.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, I ain't going to be that man. So,
100%. Yep.
So, yeah. So then when I went to college, I majored in biology, and I had a kind of ecology focus. And I took my first like actual ornithology course. I was actually in Michigan, so I got introduced to a lot of new birds that I hadn't seen before, and that was awesome. Besides the mosquitoes, they were brutal. But went out there, and when I graduated from college, I actually went back to that place, and I did some field research for the summer. So I did some songbird research, doing like my first experience point counts. I got to do my first mist nets and banding. So I got to learn how to band birds and measure them and weigh them and all that stuff. Then I took a year and I did some teaching. I taught like outdoor education. It's like 5th and 6th graders, teaching them about plants and animals and stuff like that. And then I got accepted into grad school. And so I went to grad school in Utah. That's where I studied black-backed and white-headed woodpeckers for 2 summers. Not in Utah, in the eastern Cascades of Washington.
So you're like a real bird scientist.
Yeah. I have my master's in ecology, and people are like, "Well, that's really impressive." Like, it's just really like a master's in bird watching, really. So, but we had cameras up tracking the different different nests of these black-backed and white-headed woodpeckers. And actually, the first day I got there, the researchers told me like, "Oh, one of the nests failed, and we need you to figure out why." And so I went through the footage. So I saw the pair on the tree, and then there was a gap. I didn't see them, so I, narrowed it down. And eventually, I found the video. Like, I think something happened here. I was watching it, and there's this guy just like walking around, taking like pot shots. Like, I could hear gunshots. Yeah, and just like some kind of like high school or young college guy. I'm like, oh, what's going on? And then so I see him, walk like kind of behind the tree, and then like a couple minutes later, one of the woodpeckers lands on the tree, and then bam, he gets blown off. And then he walks in front of he didn't know it was there, and looks at it, and then like walks away. And he was just shooting stuff.
Wow.
So that was like my first day, like, in the field. And I had to turn that over to U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. And yeah, I don't think they ever caught him, but I think it's just some guy from the local town just shooting stuff. Yeah, so then I moved. So I finished that. I moved back to LA to start my PhD. I was a little burnt out with grad school though, so I left that after a couple of quarters, and I focused mostly on teaching. And that's kind of what I've been doing for the past 6 years, teaching. It's mostly actually anatomy and physiology, because when I was in grad school, my advisors were like, you should really get experience doing that, because that's what they really want people to teach. There's not as much demand as for birds, unfortunately.
Tell me about it.
So, but I recently moved, actually, maybe I'm jumping a little bit ahead here. So while I was down here, I became involved in Audubon. I started e-birding while I was in Utah. And that really, once you start e-birding, man, county listing, it's a dangerous drug. So
Michelle knows all about that.
Yes. Lots of people do. Then I got started involved in Audubon. And then actually it's always Dee, she's the common root of this. She asked me,
her claws in you.
Yeah, she asked me to lead at field trips, and so I did that. Now, it felt like I was doing an okay job. I mean, I think most of the feedback was positive. Everyone's shaking their head yes.
You did great, Sammy.
Thanks. Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
I saw the hook there. Yeah. Fishing pretty hard for that one. Yeah, you did great. We miss you. Come back.
And then my plan was to slowly take over Conejo Valley Audubon, so I became VP.
He literally said this on one of the trips.
Yeah, I told him. I was very upfront. That's.
And I was like, you can have it. Just go ahead. And then you moved.
I did move. I also moved. I moved this summer, so I've been up in NorCal. And I did get another teaching job, but it was kind of a point where I was like, well, I've been really enjoying birding. After our Costa Rica trip, actually, I started to get in some guiding part-time with California Birding Guides. So I started to lead people around the state looking for birds. And I was like, I really like this. I think I'm like, somewhat good at it. And so, I've decided now to kind of try to jump in, sort of like you. I don't have a store yet. Maybe I'm coming for your store too, Frank.
It's got a hefty price tag.
Yeah. Then I just started a website, Birding with Sammy, and I thought part of that, I should start a podcast, and we can just talk about birds. And, really what I enjoyed the most about Audubon and about our international trips was just the memories and the people. I love the birds, but really I love the people the most. And so I thought we could start a podcast to just sort of celebrate that and share our stories, share our, birding adventures and misadventures, at least in my case.
I love the misadventures. I can't wait for those episodes.
Yeah, where I forget my passport.
Teaser.
Teaser episode, yeah. So yeah, that's kind of what we want to do with the podcast. And that's, sort of our brand, if you will, just a place where we can come together as a community, share our stories, laugh, about the good times, laugh about the bad times, and everything in between. So
it's a good tagline. I like that.
Any questions we have before we get on to our podcasting naming ideas about us, birds, life in general? We're experts on a lot of things.
Can we say that?
We just did.
Yeah. Oh, you've got a degree.
I do. I
guess my question, since I'm doing this here with
yes, please.
What are we doing, Sammy?
What are we doing?
I've been asking this question since you came up with the idea. Yeah, that sounds great. What's the podcast going to be about? What are we going to do? And it's just going to be like improvised. I feel like we're just going to make stuff up.
Yeah. So I think it's really just, I have a couple of episode ideas. We talk about international birding, run-ins with the law, which happens to me more than I care to admit. I never actually got in trouble. It's just I didn't know you weren't supposed
to. Got to stop you.
Yeah.
Very suspicious looking guy.
One time there was a cop who thought I was making a drug drop. And I told him, I was like, no, I'm just looking for an owl. Yeah. And he's like, oh, is that what you really do? Yeah, it really is.
I don't know. You got to send him this podcast now.
Yeah. No,
Lisa asks, why would we like birds?
Oh, that's a great question. Why do you like birds,
Frank?
Frank?
A basic question.
Yeah.
That we should have covered already. I like birds because it's such an open-ended thing.
What speaks to your soul?
The birds do. I don't really. It's hard to put into words why I like them.
This is probably another episode of why we like birds.
It probably is. So I'll try to keep the short version.
Yeah, we can't give everything away.
I admire their freedom, I think, and the color and the sound, and to be out there to see them. You kind of have to immerse yourself in nature, which is just like a whole separate world away from everything that we're in every day. And I think that there's something kind of magical about that when you're able to do that. And that's why I love going to Costa Rica and just being in these little cabins in the middle of the rainforest. And it's just you hear birds all the time. That's kind of amazing. And then there's the whole spiritual side of birds and symbolism that we'll talk about, I'm sure, later. But that's why I like birds.
Yeah, no, I think it's probably the reason why a lot of people do. They definitely, I think, represent a freedom, right? Because I can't fly, but they can, and that's at least most of them.
There's a passport joke to make there, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, I think for me, what I really like about birds is that they're also different, and it kind of reminds me of people, right? There's some birds that are really, flamboyant, like myself, and really out there and showy, and there's some, the Frank bird's a little more secretive and skulky. Yeah. So but they do remind me a lot of people, and you kind of create your own little community. This is the black phoebe that nests in my yard, and then you get to know your local neighbors' birds, and then you go internationally and you make new friends, and like we just did with Jonathan, right?
Yeah. I thought you were talking about birds.
Well, I'm saying birds and people aren't that different in my mind. They're both like friends, Yeah. So I think for me, that's that's a really good title or an idea for an episode. But I think for the short of it, that's what really appeals to me about birds.
Cool. Next question. Why do you like teaching others about birds?
Oh.
It's like she was prepared, right?
Yeah. Why do you like teaching? Oh, that's good. Why do I like teaching? I don't know. I think there's just a fundamental human thing about sharing what you're interested in, right? If whatever expertise you have and someone's like, oh, I just got into that. You're like, oh, yes, let me tell you all about it.
And you just dump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, I think really, I like doing it because usually it's within the context of a community, like on a bird walk. You and I have led our fair share of bird walks. And that's to me is the most exciting is when you get people who are new and they're like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And that's great. It's exactly where you belong.
Yeah.
And so I think I like teaching them about birds because I like including people.
Yeah, that's good. I think it's kind of the same for me. I have a lot of joy around birds. I'm not going to get emotional, and I love to share that with people. It's like one of the most genuine aspects of me that I can share with people. And I find that there are so many different people into birds, and they're all like in different places, right? So I have the customers who feed the birds in their backyards, and they're like backyard bird watchers. They don't really do walks. And then there's people who go on walks with Audubon, and that's a whole different group of people. And then the international people, that's a whole different people that are just like super into birds, right? And then I started doing the online classes, and I can reach those people all across the country. And it makes a community. Like there's these people that have heard me talk 50 times by now and like know everything I'm going to say, but they keep coming because they love to hear about the excitement and the joy of the birds. So yeah, it's an amazing thing to be able to share that with people and see how it impacts their lives, where they'll come in and be like, I just saw a robin. Somebody did this yesterday. I just saw my first robin. It was so exciting. It was on a nest. Like,
that's awesome.
It's really cool to hear those stories.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of gets to the heart of what we want this little podcast project to be about. Is just whatever it is that can create that sense of community and just a place where we can hang out and share that love with each other.
We're gonna have to work on your phrasing.
Yeah, that sounded kind of weird.
Yeah,
but you know what I mean. That's not the first time.
We got it. Yeah.
That's not the first time I'm gonna put my foot in my mouth. Okay, Lisa. Lisa. I like all the enthusiasm, but you're gonna cause us. You're gonna make us run out of episode ideas.
She's creating seeds for future episodes.
Yes, exactly. But Lisa's asking, can you share more of your favorite moments, teaching about others about more of your favorite moments, teaching others about birds and funniest moments? We will in future episodes. Maybe another. Maybe that could be our next episode.
I mean, I've got a lot of I've got one I'll share, and I'm not going to cry.
No, Frank, this is the first podcast.
So I started doing these online classes, the Frank the Bird Guy classes, during COVID. I used to do them in the store. I started doing them in COVID, and it blew up. Right, there was hundreds of people tuning in, and it was just really amazing that they just like loved it so much. And over the course of that time, all these people kept coming back, and I got an email, I think it was a Facebook message maybe, from somebody who said that their aunt had passed away, and the aunt was a big fan of my shows, and she actually made a donation to Ventura Audubon, and they live in like Louisiana. So
wow!
A donation on her behalf to Ventura Audubon, because I always promote them as our local Audubon show. So that is something that's kind of really stuck with me, as like,
that's amazing.
You don't really know the impact you're having on people in the moment, but at some point, things like that happen. So there's one story.
Wow.
Tissues are up front.
Yeah. What a great story to end our first podcast on, Frank. You really brought it.
Let's vote.
Okay. Yes.
I'm excited.
Now we're going to vote because, we can't just keep calling this our podcast.
The podcast yet to be named.
Yeah. So, okay. So both here in person and online, we need your help. We have a couple ideas. Maybe we'll just give them our top 3 or
this one.
Or we can do and then maybe that one, these.
First 3?
Yeah, the first 4 maybe actually. Okay. So here we have 4 ideas for a podcast name. We'll kind of give you to them or give them to you.
I have a favorite.
Frank has a favorite. Don't let that sway you. We want your honest opinion. Then you can type in your vote online. You can maybe just do a show of hands here in person. The first one, winging it. This is Frank's favorite. But
just get away. It says it just winging it. All right, so I'll read them. So
yes.
All right, I'm going to read them in a different order now. One is Life's a Hoot, owl joke. Birding with Friends, which is pretty presumptuous, but that's okay. The Perch or Front Perch, and then Winging It.
So do you want to give a little, maybe like explain the Winging It one? That's because
literally what we're doing.
Yeah. I liked the perch or the front porch, kind of like, come sit on the front porch but the front perch, come sit and talk.
Have some sweet tea.
Yeah, birding with friends. Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of like, that's pretty on the nose, but pretty succinct to the point. And Life's a Hoot. Yeah, I mean, that
just got that like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, but honestly, I mean, that encapsulates my life.
So do we want to do, I'll read them. I'm going to do hands, or what do we got here? Winging it. We got 2 winging it's.
2 winging it's.
All right. So
based on the randomness of this podcast, winging it makes sense. Yes.
when I said it, I was like, oh my God, that's the name.
Yeah.
Just so. If anybody would have voted for anything other than winging it.
Okay, well, I guess that's the people have spoken. This is winging it.
Yay.
Oh yeah, we did it, Frank. We did a podcast and we came up with a name.
It's that easy.
Anyways, okay. Well, I guess before we wrap up, any lasting comments for
plug your stuff?
That's
self
good.
promotion.
And I rehearsed this, and I was like, I make sure on the outro.
Keep you on track.
Man. Yeah, thank you. Okay. So, hey.
This is totally selfish, but I'm wondering if you will have guest people.
I think so.
Yes.
A lot of these we're going to do remotely because he's going to be up north and I'll be. I may or may not have some connections to some interesting bird people because of the store and the conferences I go to. So I would love to have guests.
That was definitely my plan as well. So
this thing.
Some highlights for Belize would be fun.
Yeah, we can have Jonathan, our guide, on.
Yeah, we did. At the last day of the trip was like everybody's favorite bird, everybody's favorite moment.
Yeah, so, we played. We can. I also had an idea. We can play birds categories. On the podcast. That'd be
your affinity for games, by the way.
Oh yeah, we're gonna play lots of games. I thought too. We can even bring, with their consent, of course, there are non-birding significant others. Maybe see if they want to be wrangled in.
Everybody can feel bad for them.
Yeah. And Sylvia's asking, can you drop your website links? Yes. So Frank, where can people find you? And we'll put that in the chat as well. Where can people find Frank the Bird Guy?
Just basically search for Frank the Bird Guy anywhere. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, though I don't really use it. And Patreon. I have a Patreon account. If you go to patreon.com/Frank the Bird Guy, you can join for free and then you'll get notified for all the things that I do, or you can pay the $7 a month and see all the recordings and pictures and all the stuff that I put up.
And that's where you have sometimes you sometimes teach some classes online as well, right?
Yeah, I do long form workshops that are like 2 hours long, and I do hour-long just intro level beginner bird ID stuff, usually once a month. And those are up on my Patreon and on my Facebook page.
Yeah, and then for me, I just launched my website, birdingwithsammy.com. You can find, if you want to go with me, I tour, I guide all throughout California, so you can do that. I'm also putting together different trips. So if you want, to maybe Minnesota, again, I'm going to Colombia in December. I have all these trips percolating in my brain.
Ideas. You're definitely an idea guy.
I am an idea guy. Yeah. And so, I kind of just do them. And so this is kind of this thing.
Throw it all at the wall.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then also I have some of my photos up there. I'll have links to this podcast. And then I'm trying to set up a bird cam of my bird feeder, or not my bird feeder, my bird bath. Because where I live now, lots of birds coming to the bird bath, kind of like the feeder cam we have going on up here. I have lots of deer come to the bird bath as well. So if you're just a mammal person, you can all types of wildlife people are welcome. So that's Birding with Sammy. We'll drop that in the chat and your link as well. So,
okay.
But thanks for everybody for coming, and thanks for watching and listening to Winging It. We'll see you around.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.